Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV with your host, Kyle Ellicott. We've got a fun episode for you today because we're DAOing it. What does that mean? Decentralized autonomous organizations. We're going to talk about DAOs and how they are changing the venture landscape or fundraising landscape as a whole as we know it. We've seen a little bit of action over the past few months here in quarter 4 of 2021, more than ever around DAO, specifically the Constitution DAO. $42+ million raised to purchase a piece of the Constitution. We now have a DAO that is being put together or talked about to buy the last blockbuster. We have another one that's being talked about around Olive Garden and others as well. But more importantly, how does this change the way that the venture landscape will roll out for 22 and moving forward as well? Joined by some outstanding friends of the family here at VCTV today to share their thoughts and insights around just that. Before we get started, big thank you to the Token team and to Hasmic for making today's episode possible. Mark, welcome to the show. A quick introduction.
Always a pleasure. Mark Müller-Eberstein. Best regards from snowy Seattle today. Former or recovering HP Microsoft person in the consulting and investment space for about, a dozen years now, a member of the Alliance of Angels here, the American Angel Capital Association, and running a couple of investment groups with friends. Not a fund manager, just to be very clear, but Codex 3 Investments is a group of seasoned, experienced investors that are also investing in the blockchain space, and I'll do that since 2014. So trying to make sure we are staying on top of what's happening.
Wonderful. And you guys are doing a great job at that. And we're going to be talking about this subject, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, here in just a moment. But before we do, Adrian, welcome back as well. A little intro and background, please.
Happy to be back in the Familyverse, how we are naming it. Hello, Kyle. Hello, La Token team. I'm Adrian Niculescu. I'm involved with blockchain since 2016. I'm a sales, marketing, and business development guy. I'm also part of the growth team of La Token, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor, very passionate about the thesis of decentralization and giving back the power to us, the normal people. Happy to be here and contribute today.
All right, let's talk about the norm, but the new norm here with decentralized autonomous organizations and what this means for the future of fundraising. Again, we've seen a massive amount of capital put around DAOs or these community organizations coming together to do some type of fundraising activity, all community driven as well. Mark, talk to us a little bit about DAOs in general, why they're important, and what you're seeing in terms of their activity here in the end of 2021.
Well, I'm feeling like a little ancient here. I'm writing and speaking about blockchain technology again since 7 years now. And when the first DAOs, the decentralized autonomous organization, showed up, I was really fascinated by the potential of changing management organizational structure really into a global community and having that opportunity. So the first real one, I think, was that was of substance was MakerDAO. Rune Christensen and the team really understood that opportunity and implemented it through the foundation, going to a final DAO, I think, over the years in a very impressive way. And definitely a lot of learning in that process that then has been replicated now exponentially about so many projects. And like even state legislator, Wyoming now recognizes the DAO as a legal entity, and it makes it much, much easier to form registered organization here, even under the US law.
A good point about Wyoming. And I think we're seeing that a little bit more as well in terms of other states in the United States starting to look at that as a potential means of a legal entity. Adrian, what are you seeing around DAOs in general? Why is this exciting? Why is this something to be paying attention to as we head into 2022?
I'm a person looking at customer habits and what happens in the market. And we have a new class of investors, a new class of people active in the market. You know, the regular guys and girls who, with the help of the new technologies, of the new platforms, are forming a new wing of Wall Street, and the wisdom of the masses, which is the core core concept, giving birth to the DAO ideology, becomes more and more important. And actually, small power gathered from so many people in one direction can become so big, so huge. And a DAO, if is well and ethically managed by a community of knowledgeable people in a certain vertical, can achieve even more than an organization run by just a few people who maybe may be outdated in how they are perceiving the pulse of the markets. And I'm saying time and time again, with the decentralization thesis of giving back the power to the normal people, comes also responsibility. We need to reskill ourselves, we need to change our thinking, so to be able to contribute in a meaningful way, if we want to involve in a DAO and help it to thrive. And the opportunity is really for everybody. And of course, the venture capital firms, which are the builders of the new market, they put the risk funds in new projects, in new directions. It was normal for them to spot this opportunity and to involve early. And every DAO at the core has a team helping the DAO to be created, to evolve in software, in processes, in business, even with venture capital funds. So for this thing to flourish, and it's absolutely amazing to look at, and also to involve, if you can, because you need to have this initiative to involve. And I believe 2022 and 2023 will be very, very good years for this type of organization.
Well, and you're talking about putting the power back into the everybody's hands and into the people's hands. And I want to come back to Constitution DAO for just a minute. I mean, $42 million. This is no joke at how fast they were able to put this together as an organization, spin that up, and raise that amount of capital. I believe it was 42.5 million. I could be plus or minus on that, but we'll call it 42 plus for right now. $42 million in just a couple weeks worth of time. That is incredibly fast in comparison to what it takes a company to maybe fundraise for just $1 million. I mean, a general fundraising process for an early stage company can be 3, 6, up to 9 months. And you're talking about raising 42, which is right around a Series A, Series B, Series C, depending on the type of company, in a matter of weeks. I mean, what does this do for the future of venture? Mark, I would love to know. I mean, I'm coming back to you. This changes the game. $42 million?
It is. Having said that, so first of all, it reminds me a little bit of the ICO craze. I mean, you and I are long enough around to see what happened there. And I suspect for a lot of people that got rich in crypto quite quickly, it doesn't feel like real money. So they said, I threw a couple of Ether here, a couple of Ether there, and they don't really think what's the US dollar euro equivalent of that is. Emotionally, it might not be real money for many of them. So that's one thing, and I think that's what really led to a lot of the ICO craze. I mean, you and I, we know a lot of people that wish they would have kept the Bitcoin they originally had and not throw it into weird projects where it's all gone now. So that alone, I would say, I think that doesn't make it make it a real investment necessarily. But you're absolutely right. think what we're seeing is how fast communities can come together and fund a project they really care about. And interesting enough, Constitution DAO also shows that it wasn't enough not only to win the auction, but as a community, fully thinking through what the process looks like, what the amounts look like you need to pay the auction house, the taxes, all of the other things that are coming with it, that still needs some professional understanding of a specific area. It's professional management. And as great as it is to bring a community together and capital together, but you also need to make sure you have the right knowledge in place for the specific project you're trying to achieve. And even that one, as I said, did not work 100% as planned, right?
It does not. And both you and Adrian are saying the same word here as a common theme, is community. And that is a very important factor of what the DAOs of 2021, to clarify, have really brought together. We just had the launch of Open DAO over the weekend for all those who had, I believe it was transactions on OpenSea using Ethereum, were airdropped SOS tokens that automatically shot up in value. And again, we're a part of a community very quickly. I think they had 180,000 wallets that had claimed those at a point I saw over the weekend. And I'm sure that number is much larger. But going forward, I mean, this is definitely, with the right oversight, this is something that could change the game and could bring a whole new level of community going forward. Adrian, in your closing thoughts today, prediction for 2022 and 2023 as to DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, and what role they play for entrepreneurs and for venture capital.
I believe first that DAOs will create a new market, but I would say it's very important, as with NFTs. Nobody knows exactly which of the digital assets will preserve their value over time, will increase in value or not. So all the time, I believe the basic principles of diversification and of risk management should prevail any hype, because it's very important what will happen long term for the whole ecosystem is a shift in how organizations are built, how society will be driven, and will give birth to new professions, new ways of investing, new ways of raising money, and the communities which will stick together to a common goal and will have within them the right people, the skilled people, the ethical people who want to build stuff, will be able to pass the test of time.
I think
just
adding on top of that. Sorry, no, just adding on top of this, Adrian, you're right. Communities. It's making sure people are engaged. They care about what they're trying to do. And also the technology and the platforms need to make it as easy as possible for those people to actually come together. Not everybody's a computer scientist. We have artists, we have historians. So being able to contribute, I think, is one of the key things we all can do in our space, can do much, much better off. Otherwise, we'll end up like with traditional share voting. You might own their Microsoft shares, but who really votes for the board members? Same thing, I think, if we have distributed autonomous organization and decentralized autonomous organizations, it is really critical for all of us to play our role, make it easy for people to bring them in, and of course, contribute with the knowledge we have in our specific areas.
Absolutely. Adrian, where can everyone find you online to continue the conversation?
I can be found on LinkedIn. That one is my main communication hub. And of course, on my profile on VCTV. VCTV becomes a very special social media site with very nice professionals. And I'm absolutely happy and honored to be part of this community. And I'm happy to help in any way I can. Can't wait to come back. Until the end of the year, I will be in 2 more shows, and of course in 2022 to support this very good online MBA for founders and entrepreneurs in this space. It's very, very valuable. Worth doing it 100%. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Adrian. Mark, any other closing thoughts, and where can you be found online as well?
No, it's always a pleasure to be here. I think DAOs are, and the whole crypto space, of course, it's going to change our world, not in the next 6 months, but definitely the next 6 years. Follow me on Twitter. I think that's the best way. Here it is, Mark M. Eberstein. Best way to find me on Twitter. Stay in touch. And looking forward to continue the conversation here and LA Token TV, and of course with all of you guys and the audience.
Wonderful. Mark, Adrian, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights today around decentralized autonomous organizations, also known as DAOs, with our audience. Also, audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, make sure you like, share, and subscribe on today's episode. Reach out to Mark, Adrian, and myself, as we'd all love to hear from you. If you're building anything in these industries, but please do add context where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about as well. Big thank you to the Token team and to Hasmic for making today's episode possible. I'm your host, Kyle Ellicott. Until tomorrow, take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.